semifinals. So definitely going to be putting up as best of a fight as they can against Simon Fraser. But ladies and gentlemen, we are finally into the picks and bans. The teams were joking around about it, but no one was quite ready yet. They were taking their time. It's just by the time the A&M was ready, George Mason had sent a player to the restroom and had come on back. So these kind of things do happen, these delays. But it gives everybody a chance to catch their breath, get their head right for this next game, because it's all got to get left out on the Rift at this point.
Yeah, that's the thing about, that's the thing. Well, actually, I'll talk about that. I was actually going to make a joke, but it's improper now anyways, because Corky was banned out, and that is something that you pointed out. Expected to see that one banned. Mr. Black Panda, they're paying a lot of respect from, George Mason paying a lot of respect to Mr. Black Panda. Taking away the Corky, that means that is going to be taking away Texas A&M's mid-game power spike that they were lacking in game number 1, corrected in game number 2, and then sort of stomped with the overall team comp.
Yeah, definitely the case. So taking away one of the biggest potential points there. Now, A&M answers back. They say, you did the same thing to us with the Victor. We don't want to deal with that. So taken out, gone. Zaya, no surprises there. So this does leave open, Sejuani was potentially banned in the first round of things. And oh, look at that. I just said the magic words because they
still in the meta.
Yep, we're not getting away from that one anytime soon. That's going to be sticking with us at least until the summer split. But look at this. Does Holy Slurp want to take it out and away? They say yes. Alex will not get Tom Kench this time around. Has to look now to another champion that he might want to play.
Braum is available. That was very huge for the Holy Slurp last game. They're going to be hovering over the Braum. It was banned out in game number 1, so a contested pick for sure. Alex would do well on the Braum. Obviously wants to get on the Tom Kench, but that one being taken away. They're actually going to hover over the Jhin and pick that one up. Yeah, Enrique popped off so hard to the Jhin. Firefly insta-locking the Sejuani. Knows exactly what he wants, and that was the Sejuani. No more aggressive jungling from the Nocturne. Going to get more of a... actually, you can still aggressively jungle from Sejuani. You can just kind of do anything you want with Sejuani because she's stupid like that. But going to be having that presence. Also, the big team fight presence in the Sejuani with that Glacial Prison.
Yeah, the team fights were not there last time from George Mason. Now, Firefly can play that champion with the same lack of hesitation that he picked that champion. We're going to be seeing a pretty rough game for the side of Texas A&M, but they're going to stick to Jarvan Glory 9. Going to be taking that one through. No surprises there. The tanky Jarvan did really, really well for them last time. Chuck Normus had Caitlyn banned out and away last time. We'll see if it comes through. I think it should. First round of the draft, they know they don't want to get it targeted in the second round, so Chuck Normus going to be feeling better on that. I don't know exactly how I feel about that because he had a much better Varus game than he did Caitlyn.
Yeah, and I actually feel like that's because of the team comp. Caitlyn is a little bit safer. I think that Varus, honestly, if he did not have a tanky Jarvan and a tanky Sion on the top lane, if they replaced the Caitlyn in the first game with the Varus, I think the result would have been the same. I really don't fault Chuck Normus whatsoever. It's just purely the team comp in game number 2 that really accelerated the amount of pressure that Texas A&M could do and got them to game number 2. But Braum being locked in over on the side of George Mason, so that is going to be the big wall on in front of Enrique along with Sejuani, keeping Enrique as healthy as possible. And Braum, again, contested pick this entire series, going to be picked up this time around by George Mason.
Yeah. Alex needs to go on that. Braum will not get Tom Kench for the first time in this series. Does mean that we're doubled up on some glacial trouble, as Sejuani with the Glacial Prison, Braum with the Glacial Fissure. It means that both of these ultimates are going to wombo combo the ever-living out of Texas A&M should we get to a full-on team fight. Now, thankfully, for Chuck Normus, he will have Tom Kench being played by the Holy Slurp to just play some defensive capability there. Holy Slurp's been playing the defensive support all series long, started with Tarek, moved to Braum, and now is sitting on that Tom Kench. Seems to be a bit more of a denial towards Alex than anything else, but with more bans coming out, that is the Gangplank and the Casio taken out from the side lane potential. Texas A&M will not get to play anything there. Swain gone for the third game in a row. Means he will not get to play this season out through, this series out through. Obviously, Swain has been played some this season. But Nar taken out as well means the Ornn will be the pickup. And barring any crazy Ornn mid, I think you and I saw that one time. Ione will be running to the top lane with that. And excited to see that one come out for him as well because he wasn't able to actualize as well on the NAR last game, so maybe a change-up is what he needs.
Yeah, Orn does cover a lot of boxes. You checks a lot of boxes for a team. Has the tank, has I mean, obviously the engage as well, which is really huge. The Call of the Forge God, that's something you really want. Also has the CC that you want from any champion, really, top lane specifically. Orn, a good pickup for Ion. Not going to. Not surprised to see that one. Not surprised to see some sort of tanky champion, especially now that Nar is banned out. Based on the team comp that we saw last game from Texas A&M, it looks like George Mason may be wanting to have 2 points of main damage as well. We're going to see what they pick up. Timo, that'd be it, but I don't think they're going to be picking that one up.
I think Alex is just trolling us here.
Yeah, very much so. Orianna being locked in over on the side of Texas A&M, though, and that is going to be the last of their team comp, having a ball carrier in both Sion and Jarvan, so very nice team comp going on. They also do cover the wave clear. That is something that they need on the side of George Mason. Nivea covers that wave clear, but also an unorthodox pick, especially in the meta that we're in right now. A lot of wave clear, though. Does fit the wave clear, does fit the control of the lane, and does create zones. Actually, very nice into Sion because you can create a wall as he's charging and completely negate his ultimate.
Yeah, no, this team is definitely staying frosty here with their potentials. Yeah. There's just so much engaged. There's so much pick potential. George Mason had it all with this composition. I really like to see it. Now, that said, this is the same composition from A&M, only a little better, because the spirit of that was Jarvan and Sion running the Warmog's tank show while the rest of their team was able to get out and through. The only thing I feel that's worse off for A&M here is Black Panda onto Orianna instead of Corki. But even in the game they lost, Black Panda's Orianna was sick. I mean, it was just so good.
Yeah, it was the big point for Texas A&M that they just couldn't get going all the way. I mean, there's too many members falling around Mr. Black Panda to get going. So I don't fault Mr. Black Panda's first game at all. That was just again, I feel like that was highly onto the team comp and the George Mason's ability to pick apart Texas A&M. They focus a lot on the top lane. Boy Cold, when he was playing the Gangplank. Yeah, he's on Sion now. Can't really do that so much. Yeah, he did that. He played last game. Tanky stats. Can't really pressure somebody who's such a tank like that as much as you can. Somebody who's a little bit squishier, like a Gangplank. So they're remedying that one. I do like this team comp from Texas A&M and George Mason. These are going to be some very incredibly crazy and powerful team fights.
I think it comes down to which team can play their composition just a little bit better. Again, same story as game number 1. I feel like George Mason have drafted a competition that may be just a little bit harder to execute on. They didn't have any problem executing on it the first game. They drafted the same composition in Spirit, game number 2. Didn't really find what they needed into the face of the tanks, and I think so much of that was to do with the Ezreal pick. Now back on Jhin, we'll see what they can maybe pull out of the bag there. But all in all, it will just come down to which team comes to the Rift ready to play in game number 3. They both had nice long 10-minute breaks to shake out the nerves and just reset the mental barometer there. So we'll see, because both teams have proven that they can come into this series packing a real punch.
Yeah, the punch is going to be certainly packed this time around between the Sion and the Ornn on both sides on the top lane, and then of course Sejuani and Jarvan in the jungle. You have a lot of different engagers coming out, a lot of different tanky stats. I would be very interested to see if Glory builds that tanky Jarvan again. That works surprisingly well. Yeah, with that Warmogs, yeah.
You have to commit to it. You really do.
Yeah.
And you need things going well on the other side of the map, because so much of Jarvan's initial draw in the current meta of League of Legends is that he can really start to get somebody else snowballing. He can start to get himself snowballing and just, start to pick up that momentum. You have to go later with the tank Jarvan. You have to just have a different answer for the early game. But if you do, that's what you get. And it's insane.
Yeah, very much so. We're going to see how those turn out once we get onto the Rift. We're counting down, though. My name is Joshua Fekes Quest. I'm here with Kyle Corvus Crow. Follow us on our Twitters at the little @ right below us. I'm Fekes. He's Corvus Kovacs. You can also hit ! casters in the chat to pull up just a link to click on. Follow us that way as well. You can also hit ! Discord in the chat as well to join our community, get our Discord link, join our community, have a voice, be heard, and things like that. We also do community games. Join in on that. It's always a good amount of fun. And of course, you can follow us on Twitter at follow C Star League on Twitter at C Star League. or CSL LOL if you just want Collegiate League of Legends material, because we actually have a lot of other games, Dota, CSGO, I don't know, all these other ones. Yeah, Vainglory. Vainglory at one time, we had Smash at one time too. If it's not League of Legends, I typically don't care, honestly. No offense to anyone else. But you can also follow us
on...
on...
we concern ourselves with lesser games?
Exactly. Dan's gonna kill us, but
oh boy.
Yeah, you can also follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/CStarLeague, and also go check out our YouTube, check out the VODs, talk shows, games from the past, anything you want that is CSL related is on our YouTube as VODs, youtube.com/CStarLeague. And of course, I want to give a shout out to Twitch. You can also follow them on Twitter at twitter.com/Twitch, facebook.com/Twitch, because they've been here supporting Collegiate League of Legends, Collegiate Esports for quite a while now, and they deserve a shout out. So go give them one on that, on our account for us, please, for sure, because they deserve it. And we're actually into game here. This is going to be interesting. We have a series now, so this is going to be very exciting to see who is able to pick up the second win in this game. Best of 5. We have at least 3 games to go.
Well, yeah, I mean...
2 games to go.
Yeah,
3
potentially.
Games. Yeah.
3 games maximum, 2 games on the minimum, and look at this, Texas A&M.
Yeah, I was trying
to catch a fish out of water.
I was trying to multitask. It wasn't working out there. But yeah, we just see some clumping here. Something we haven't seen in any other game. We usually see the line of scrimmage being drawn, but this time around, Texas A&M, they want to change it up a little bit. Game number 3 in a best of 5 is where you get the chance to change it up, because it's not like a best of 3 where you have to play extremely conservative and make sure you launch yourselves into mid-game. You can take risks in game number 3 in a best of 5 because you always have that extra game if it's tied up 1-1, which it is right now in this scenario. So I expect to see that a little bit here. We already see a little bit of a different strategy. Like I said, Texas A&M grouping up a little bit on that bot side, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit more risk coming out because both teams can afford that. And it's one of those high risk, high rewards sort of situations, could reward them very well in this game number 3.
We'll see how it all pans out. The execution, both teams just still playing it safe. This is the experimental game for sure in any series, but no team going to be too worried about it. They're still going to play it down just like they knew they wanted to coming in. Both teams very measured, having a plan. And now it's all a matter of how well that comes to fruition. Enrique taking a little bit on the chin there. Gets the harass before they even get to lane. Pings out. Yeah, that's warded. Not going to worry too much about it. And I expect this to be a push fest out of both bot laners here.
Everyone is watching.
Yeah, we're going to see quite a bit of pressure coming out on both sides. We actually see some really good, I mean, the entire series so far has been a big battle in the bot side, as there's the biggest priority is on the bot side with that dragon. We've seen so many Infernal Drakes come out that the RNG cannot possibly have one more first-time Infernal Drake. I'm not going to go over to check it out, but it should be coming up pretty soon.
It's a Cloud Drake.
It's a Cloud Drake. Nobody cares about the Cloud Drake, so that's fine.
We're not going to see a single Drake taking this game. Maybe they'll take a Rift Herald instead.
Maybe they'll take a Rift Herald. We haven't seen the Rift Herald at all this entire series, so I haven't even seen it in its pit because nobody cares to even travel up there. But with the tanky jungler on the side of George Mason, I do suspect to see a little bit more priority over the jungle objectives, such as the Rift Herald.
Very much the case, especially, you know, we've seen such active jungling coming out from Glory. This guy's been all over and really just dragging people up and down the Rift. Good play there. So to just slouch a little bit on the onto the likes of the Rift Herald, not as big. But whatever the case, you know, Cloud Drake might open those early doors, might open the early ganks. We've seen that's something that both teams are very much prepared to do, is find those pre-6 ganks, a little bit more so to the hands of Glory, who did find that first game. Cheese just getting a level 2 kill. Now back here, Firefly will get spotted out by Slurp Enormous, but doesn't care too much, takes the big spear to the camp. We'll continue just to cheese on through this and make Slurp Enormous kind of think twice about their actions here for the next couple seconds.
Yeah, both junglers are actually counter-jungling at the Krugs right now, so both of them have the exact same thing in mind. Not going to see a gank in the top lane yet. There's really no position from Ion rather, to make that effective for Boy Cold. So actually shoved pretty far back to his turret, and as you said earlier, going to see a lot of aggression on this bot side from both these ADCs, but right now Enrique and Alex, they are pushing up a little bit more aggressively, and now, speaking of aggression, a lot of trading going on the top side.
Yeah, no, I like it. Ion actually seems to have an answer for Boy Cold this time around, at least in the earlier trades, and just kind of making a punching bag of him. So I feel like we're at a point which is surprising in a third game of a best-of-5 series, is that both teams are starting to kind of feel each other out again. That happens in game number 1, sometimes in game number 2, very rarely in the third game, as it is more of both teams finding their stride. This time, however, some champion change-ups on the side of George Mason mean that maybe A&M needs a little bit of time to kind of understand and play out the lane, kind of test the parameters there. And GMU capitulating to that wonderfully. They say, we're absolutely happy to let you do that because we feel like the later the game goes, the more pressure we're going to build up on you guys. So here at 5 minutes, nothing crazy coming out. I think that suits both sides, as we've not even seen a single summoner blown, save for the smites.
No, it's been pretty tame thus far. Only 5 minutes, but usually by that point, you've seen Glory make some sort of crazy gank. Top side last game, mid game, or middle side on, or middle lane rather, in the first game, and both of them equated to some sort of death kill, surprise overall. But nothing thus far, though we do see him hovering around mid. The thing is that all the laners, besides the bot side, the laners on the top and the mid for George Mason, GMU, they're staying relatively safe. Not really fearing too much of a gank from Glory. Route still has his flash, sees that he's being super safe, switches out his heal for the teleport, has the unsealed spellbook, so he can do that, and decides to go back early, get a tier, come back quickly, and try not to miss out on too much experience or gold.
Yeah, should feel pretty decent about that one. Route on this Anivia is the biggest question mark in this game to me still, especially when we get just past the laning phase. Laning phase is always interesting for Anivia, currently down 10 CS, but the mid game's so much more important there, so we'll see what all does come of that and when. In the meantime, it tends to be, looks like the start of some counter jungling on both sides. Now, Firefly will walk over an entrance ward, going to be pinged out there, so side of A&M know it pretty well. Meanwhile, it was the covert ops coming through. Glory got in there pretty well. Now, look, Black Panda winning the damage trades, but Route slapping some back on for good measure means that mid lane might catch some action before too long. Both are a little low on the mana side of things, but itemization is there for Route. Now, Firefly finding himself in a familiar position in which he is on the opposing side Krugs and being harassed a little bit by the enemy bot lane. Wants to stop the backsend, does so, nicely done, but really only buys himself a couple seconds, and much to the annoyance of Normus and Slurp means that everything's just going to back off hunky-dory there.
Yeah, I thought that maybe Enrique was going to try to hard shove that lane, cause Chuck Normus to miss out on some of the CS, but it's actually going to stay pretty even. Actually, be back in the middle of that bot side, so not much taken out there besides, yeah, annoyance to Chuck Normus. He has not been able to go back yet, so he does have gold to buy a BF sword, and that is something Enrique is taking advantage of right now with that damage.
Ouch. Yeah, no, that one hurts. Enrique not finding that shot to seal things up and root Chuck Norris. Even so, Caitlyn is a little bit of a dangerous champion to aggress on that heavily when rooted up just because of her range potential, especially coming out of the back of the Peacemaker. But I don't think he's going to worry too much about that one. Holy Slurp on this Tom Kench. Not necessarily seeing the same level of aggression I may have wanted to early. Obviously not playing to the same degree as Alex, but look at that. They do get in with a nice flash dunk, but it only catches out the egg. So Route going to stay safe from the passive. I feel like Glory wasn't thinking that one through to the very end there, because he definitely could not have tanked the tower. So Firefly there, throw the ultimate does mean the flash comes through on Glory, and that's going to be, I would actually say, potentially a net win coming out for the side of GMU. I would rather have the flash out onto Jarvan the Fourth than I would rather have my Anivia passive. Slowest early game we've seen by far. 8.5 minutes as these players are really just filling out the CS, trying to gel with the champion and decide how they want to play this one out, because without the Rift Herald spawned yet, and without the Cloud Drake being a big point of importance, it's really just a glorified laning phase.
Yeah, so far, it's not much action whatsoever. But as far as that mid lane is concerned, yeah, having that egg out is actually very advantageous, but it's also one of the advantages of playing Anivia is you have that egg. You have a built-in Guardian Angels. Taking that away does make you vulnerable. Route Does have the flash still. Actually, teleport's going to be coming up because there's been so little action coming out that he doesn't have to use he doesn't have to roam anywhere, doesn't have to flash anywhere. But Glory, yeah, having that flash down is going to help out his. That's actually it is going to help out George Mason quite a bit. But we have a gank in the top lane.
Ooh, Ion breaks that gank immediately with just a quick little flash. Says, nope, we're not going to play that game. And Boy Cold? Hello?
Yeah?
We're going to pretend we didn't see that. That's his mulligan. He gets out for free on that one. Everyone's a very forgiving person here. We know that. That's the internet. Ladies and gentlemen, we are hearing from our production that maybe the champion noises are a little bit too loud for you, so we'll try to get that one toned down just a little bit. But we got some aggression to deal with first, and actually a good trap keeps Chuck Norris very safe, and a good flash means Holy Slurp might try to get out of that one. He is tanky enough, but look at that. He doesn't even get a chance for his shield. That's how heavily they root him, so he flashed to the middle of nowhere and died for it. Does get some tower priority back over if they can push out Boykel. They know he doesn't have his flash. They know he doesn't have his teleport. So Ion should be able to shove really, really hard into this top lane. But all things considered, you know, that's a pretty good takeaway. First blood for free, basically, coming out for George Mason as they do take themselves the 1K gold advantage.
Yeah, the sad part about that, though, is Rike did not get anything out of that. He missed all of his shots, so he didn't get any assist. But yeah, that is the first blood gold going over to George Mason. They're able to put that onto Firefly. Not as advantageous as a Nocturne, considering how much Nocturne can snowball, but it is good to get that out of the way no matter what, because that creates pressure on the bot side. You see how much Enrique is leading in farm right now against Chuck Norris. That is going to be huge, considering Enrique, how well he did on the first game as Jhin. You want to put some eggs in that basket and get him going as much as possible.
Yeah, very much the case. It's all a game of scale, scale, scale. And so first they nail it, then they scale it, but, you know, first, it's just getting to a point of finding that balance on the map, getting yourself, oh, hang on, call the Forge God coming down, knock up, but not going to do too much. Black Panda getting out of that one okay. Does have to flash for it, and the flash on an immobile Orianna does mean a lot. Now, there is the snipe coming in. Ace in the hole does try to get Enrique down. Keeps his health low, but he should be able to, you know, well, he'll just back, so he's feeling
Yeah, he's going to back anyways. He doesn't really have much to work with at the moment. His lane is shoved. His lane mate just got back there, so he's just going to go back. He actually had a little bit of gold to spend. He's going to go... He's actually, I don't know if he had that much gold to spend, but he is going to come back a little bit stronger. Definitely healed up, has a health pot in his arsenal as well. So he's just going to play it slow, which is the definition of this entire game number 3 thus far. 12 minutes in, only 1 kill, no turrets taken, no pressure around the Drake, though that is changing right now, as it is snuck away by Texas A&M. Shockwave in the mid side here. Might be seeing a gank. Glory actually in action here. He's not gonna use his Cataclysm to lock in Route. Route keeps a hold of the flash. So it was worth an attempt, I suppose.
very, very balanced play coming out from Route. This guy knows exactly what he's doing and how. Would believe that this is not the first time he has played Anivia. Also has clawed back the CS deficit. He was down 10, now flexing anywhere from 0 to 5, depending on how it all goes. So with the Cloud Drake taken out and away, the rotations are going to be there a little bit better for the side of Texas A&M. I don't think they're going to worry about it too much. We might have some double jungle issues coming down here. Alex coming in. There is the knock-up through the Glacial Fissure, and then the back line trying to get in onto Glory. Ione is here. The call of the Forge God is down. Can he knock up Chuck Norris? Yes, he does. Finds the back line as well as they're just trying to get through. Holy Slurp with a nice eat-up. Does keep the time going. Alex taking a lot of tower damage. Has to get out of that one. Passes it on to Enrique. Trying to keep it through, but the teleport is down. Ace in the hole means Enrique is low. Summoners are down. Route in the mid lane. Caught up. Tied. Boy Cold just trying to get out of that one in one piece. Likely should. And the tower, saying cannot be said for that, will be in pieces as they find another kill. And the tower, George Mason somehow do it again. And through all the chaos, they just picked out the cleanest potential route, at least in terms of the scoreboard, maybe not in terms of the summoners, but do come out in a way okay with an advantage on both fronts. First tower of the game and a kill for themselves. So all is well.
Yeah, George Mason doing what they do best, and that is rotating to the bot side, using their entire kit, their entire team comp to make a dive. They did it very well. Usually wait till about level 6. But this time, waited to level 8, got a kill, got the first turret, and got Enrique a kill as well. Very nice a tower rotation on the aggro as well from George Mason. So nicely played. They've shown that in all 3 games thus far that they have the potential, they have the ability to rotate on the bot side tower, and that's something that Texas A&M have yet to really counter. So still taking advantage. If it keeps working, just keep doing it. One of those things where, you know, if it's not broke, don't fix it sort of thing. And now we're going to see the rotation from the bot side. Enrique Alex is going to go shove up that top side turret. Meanwhile, Ione and Boy Cold going to the bot side. Chuck Normus and the Holy Slurp. This is one thing that you have to, that sometimes people question because Chuck Normus and Holy Slurp, they could actually stay in that bot side and just try to push into the tower. It does leave them a little bit exposed, but now they're going up to the bot side, the top side, matching with Enrique and Alex, who had already beaten them on the bot side, and they're going to try to not repeat what happened on that bot side, let their turret be taken, because the dive can happen just as well on the top side. And let's not forget, Rift Herald is still up. That is actually something that people can get. Well, I haven't forgotten about it, but yeah,
I don't think anyone else remembered it. I think that's the problem.
I've noticed.
It, none of them have remembered it.
Yeah, that's something they may want to do, because if you rotate to the top side, that means you can just tower dive the top side now. The same situation, just different side of the map, but a different kind of aggression. But hold on, gank on the bot side.
Yeah, speaking of aggression, Call of the Forge got a nice knock up to prevent him from getting over the wall too early, and that means the damage is there on the front end. Means the flash is pretty well baited. I don't think Boy Cold has too many places to go. Same can be said in the top lane, as now Glory is in there with the Cataclysm. Can't get out. The tower will find him. And look at that, Enrique and Alex so low, but Enrique just barely limps out. Are you kidding me? Ace in the hole is still there. But Chuck Normus has to think long and hard about how to use it, as Alex can still block up with the Braum shield. Enrique barely out, so if they find one on the bot side, they may potentially lose more. Mr. Black Panda says, I'm going to make sure we can take this tower. And they've already got it well over halfway down, means it should be coming through no problems. Answered back up, and will bring the gold a lot closer to center, but it's still a 2K gold deficit, 2.6 to be exact, favoring George Mason.
Yeah, oh, Abyssal Voyage coming into the mid side.
Yeah, we'll see whether or not Rao can get out of that one. Not likely, but does have to flash. Probably has the egg up by this point, didn't lose it. You know, it was a very long time ago that it went down, so we'll have that egg. So the flash taken out. Abyssal Voyage, Holy Slurp's gonna feel good about taking that one, but look back over the wall. This is dangerous. Holy Slurp, there is Tom Kent, spits him out in time, and that is the strength of that champion. Means that Black Panda was out scot-free in an otherwise absolutely devastated situation.
Yeah, you cannot engage, full-on engage, if you have Tom Kinch there, unless you lock down Tom Kinch, but then you leave Mr. Black Panda free to roam, and you know, not roam, but to unleash his arsenal onto you. So that is something that you have to watch out, as if you're Firefly. Land that Glacial Prison, that's awesome, but if the person you land it on is next to Tom Kinch, it's just going to negate your entire engage. Very nicely played. Yeah. By the Holy Slurp, by Mr. Black Panda. Mr. Black Panda still has his flash as well, because he didn't need it. So that's going to be up for the next team fight.
So this is neither here nor there. But I gotta say, I feel like the Holy Slurp is a name well befitting of a Tom Kinch.
Yeah, very much so.
It all works. So, well done. Control Ward to spot out the traps means that Chuck Normus will not be in any immediate danger there, especially as Firefly backing off on the other side. No pincher coming down. They're just trying to reset. Definitely the slowest game, the third one in this best-of-5 series. And teams just can't decide the best way forward, so it seems all the kills in the favor of George Mason. It's a tower apiece elsewise, with a slight Cloud Drake buff coming down now onto the likes of Texas A&M. Mountain will be the next Drake, 10 seconds now, likely to be much more contested.
Yeah, I said earlier that game number 3, when it's a 1-1 situation in a best-of-5, is the time to make risks, take some plays, and you know, try to make them work when you otherwise would not try. I was obviously wrong about that one, unless the big thing that everyone's been hiding, and the real risky thing, is this engage. Hold on, we'll talk about that later. This engage.
Glory wants
There's
it.
the
We also
wall.
heard Scion coming down. Call of the Forge God knocks up Chuck Normus. That could be big. He is eaten up by the Holy Slip. There's the Cataclysm. Immediately canceled out of, as Glory realized that was not the right decision. His health bar is gone regardless. And look at that now. It's going to be a stun up on the Boycold. They're just going to keep his health bar low. What a wall! Are you kidding me? Alex is low, but the heal will keep him in good shape. Now, that is not the same. Boycold goes down. Double kill for Ornn. They do find one back onto Alex, but they don't care. Chuck Normus gone down, and Mr. Black Panda, the only one to limp out of that. as George Mason have countered the team fight enigma that was Texas A&M. They find them now in shambles with a Mountain Drake as their prize.
Route with those walls are amazing. Actually, it was going to stop Boy Cold's initiation with that wall. He actually didn't even have to hit it all the way. Boy Cold stopped dead center right before the wall and walked around it. But then the wall was back up, able to block off Boy Cold's escape and keep the rest of Texas A&M from re-engaging or giving support to Boy Cold. Very nicely played by Route and the rest of George Mason, and they get a tower, not a Mountain Drake out of that. For their
help with towers.
Very much so. Help with towers, help with Baron, help with the Rift Herald if anyone wants to go for that one. And look at the top lane. We're going to see the exact same build path from Boy Cold. Has that Z-Rot portal, so there is some pressure that Ion has to answer on that top side.
I will say this time around, Ion's so much better equipped to deal with it. He's just got the kills, the Frozen Fist, or Iceborne Gauntlet, I should say. It's all looking better for Ion this game. Now, I want to touch back on Anivia very, very briefly. The counter is twofold. It's not just so good against Boy Cold. Glory in the Cataclysm, the second he landed that, he thought, oh, no, we gotta get out of this one. Because they just threw down the Anivia ultimate, and then suddenly his own Cataclysm just became so dangerous in the midst of that Glacial Storm. So, really did pan out quite well for the side of Route. All the Glacial ultimates, Prison, Storm.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Fissure is Brahms. So yeah, I mean, really did lock up very well. Now, Firefly getting in onto the face of Glory says, not going to worry too much about that. Wave Clear's coming online. I don't really understand why they would use Ace in the Hole to harass Route that way. But all the same.
Route doesn't. Route does not have any sort of sustain. But hold on.
Forge God comes down. It's a knock-up on 2. Now, the big slurp. They're going to try to get in on the Chuck Normus, but not the case as Black Panda is in so much trouble. Goes down. Ion rampaging through this. They might find Route, but it would only be the egg. They're not even going to get that much as Glory does go down. And Chuck Normus on the way out does get taken up. Slurp tries to find it in, but Ion is there. And Firefly finds the next one. Normus is down. And it is just Boy Cold. He'll get out with his life, I'm sure. But they will find so much more from the side of George Mason here as Baron seems to be their next target. And Boy Cold, you got to be careful here. There's only so much time you can buy before they finally catch and kill you.
And once again, Route, he is so clutch with his zone control. And that's what you want to do with Anivia in these team fights. Create zones, block off the enemy, and that's exactly what he's doing. Doing so well with this R. And there's the Baron picked up. That was actually Ion that picked that up, by the way. That could have been a potential steal from Boy Cold if he got in there. But these team fights.
Too much about it.
Right, yeah, they're not going to worry about it. The Baron's taken. George Mason, they're in control of this one. Route, so good with this Anivia. And he's staying alive. Insane, in fact. He has Seraph's Embrace and stay alive through the shield. They haven't been able to pop his egg except for that one time early going. And now, yeah, these team fights, it's all about Route. He is zoning out everybody. He's creating these cold zones where if you step into it, you're going to get a slowed, be chunked.
Z-Rock killed instantly.
Yeah, no problem.
Can't push into that. Sorry.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm glad George Mason has fixed their wave clear issue because it's paying dividends for them. 1-11 right now against Texas A&M in a game last game where it was on a nice edge. Really, all George Mason needed to do was to get some wave clear in there, get some zone control as a control mage. Anivia, great answer to that.
Yeah, I really have to, give hats off to the creative mind at George Mason University. They've drafted very creative compositions throughout there. Their theory crafting and understanding of the meta is really excellent and potentially on another level than what we see from a lot of colleges, even a lot of the really good colleges. Don't tend to adapt this well in draft. And so they took the loss very well. They figured out a composition that they could play into it with very few hitches and have done that in spades. Now look at all the rest of this map. It does mean Ion finds a tower in the top lane. That is their third of the game as they're getting dangerously close to a 10k gold lead. Call of the Forge God. He is called. Glory's knocked up, but Slurp finds the chop up again. And just like that, 2 Glacial Ultimates. And nothing will come of it. So they just move right along. And possibly bot lane tower, what they want to find. They have the Baron, they have their options. They can kind of pick and choose here.
Yeah, they had great wave push in both mid and bot lane, so if you got the fight in the mid lane, you can get that mid turret. Well, hold on, Black Panda, that's a flash.
Ooh, yeah. Does indeed have to get out of that one very carefully here, and does get knocked up on the just tail end of that by Enrique. It's a parting gift, and really just buying time for Ion. He is the split pusher. Not too common to see the split pusher being the one to siege right down mid lane, while the rest of the team ties him up in bot lane, but it is the case of this one. Black Panda again.
Not good.
Eaten up over the wall, but Route taking the damage for this one out and through. It is still the push coming through. Top side for Ion wants to keep on that one as they will rotate. They finally broken the minion line, but it's just going to be proxied right back out now by the remaining members of GMU. And this is getting to be a dangerous position now for Texas A&M. They have to decide something. The Aggies here.
There's a banner.
Uphill battle. Yep, banner. Continuing with that. Why not? All in good fun.
Yeah, that works whenever your enemy does not have wave clear. Now they have wave clear, and they also have Baron, so they can take a hit. It's still difficult. It's still annoying, but that's about all it is. It's annoying. It's not advantageous at this point.
No, certainly the case. It's just there. And, you know, if you slap that down to the top lane, you know, run through, they all spawn at the Nexus, right? You can empower that thing whenever.
Right.
Then it's a pretty decent pickup. It buys some time. You have to send Ion up there. He doesn't have a teleport. Maybe send Route and then try to find something there. So, you know, that's something they can pull in later into this game. But yeah, to just cheekily do it right under your own mid tower and say, it's on there, whatever. Okay, sure. We all understand. It's fine.
Nice banner, bruh.
Could be better.
Could be a better banner, that is for sure, as the Drake is started here. Looked over real quick, it is the Cloud Drake, which Cloud Drake, okay, so nobody really cares about the Cloud Drake early on. Late game, mid to late game, I should say, it is actually really important. They turn it into percentage increase, speed increase now, which quadruples over once you get rested and not out of combat. So that's pretty huge, and especially when you're George Mason, because that means these split pushes can happen even quicker. You can go from top lane to mid lane a lot faster with a Cloud Drake, and that is something that is actually going to be very advantageous for them and should not be underestimated. The Cloud Drake is kind of a meme, especially when it's the first one, but once you get into this point of the game, it can be very, very important.
So much the case.
Nice itemization coming out also by Route. Getting out that Leandre's, which changed. It no longer gives the magic penetration, but now it increases damage over time as you are in combat and as you're attacking people, which is great for Anivia. Very nice pickup by Route. Very good item onto the a new item, I should say, if you want to say that. A new function of it. Very good, very advantageous for Anivia. Like that pickup.
Yeah, I gotta say, I think it turned out pretty daggum well for him. Now, looking at this, Glory over the wall here might want to try to find something. The Baron is now gone on all fronts, and you know what? We see the banner command minion in the top. This is what we're talking about, the better place to put it. So he maybe heard us there, or maybe just came with some common sense. But whatever the case, look at how long that thing's taking. Look how much time of Ions that is buying. It's a really still big deal to try to play around, and so Boy Cole definitely doing well there. Hasn't even popped the ZZ Rock, and throw that down whenever, so all things considered, he is definitely still the split push threat. And it's a pretty cheeky niche pick, but it's worked out well for them in the last game. And it's buying the time they need to farm back into things in this game, because you're sitting in a situation where you can let the Orianna and the Caitlyn just wave clear, wave clear, wave clear,
right.
wave clear.
The problem,
and
the big problem with it though is that it doesn't really give you much health at all. And it gives you stats, resistances, but other than that, you still launch yourself into a team fight. You're gonna get blown up no matter what. But we see some siege coming out.
Blown up.
Yeah.
This tower may get blown up pretty well now. Firefly is over the wall, does not try to get in there, but tries to get in with the call. The Forge God, that's going to be a triple knockup, and Chuck Normus very low before he's even eaten up. Now Glory cataclysms and just breaks it right back out. Black Panda in some trouble. You can't eat all of them, and so Chuck Normus will get out, but the same cannot be said for the A&M mid laner. That's 45 seconds. And now Glory and Boykel trying to back in time. It should be the pressure set up coming out very well from George Mason as they're going to continue on through these mid lane towers. They're going to find one for sure, maybe two, as Black Panda is so much of their wave clear. Well, the wave is here, and so many members of George Mason all the same. I don't know what Glory was doing, clearing out wards on Baron. Sure, that's fine, I guess, but your inhibitor's going to suffer for it because you didn't back in time.
He's not backing.
He's still not even backing. What are you doing at this point?
I think he's just waiting there. He anticipates that George Mason, they're going to go for the Baron. Now he's backing. Now he's not. Okay, I think that he anticipates that they're going to go for the Baron. He's going to go for a very desperate steal because you often do not ward. that tri-brush after laning phase, oftentimes they're not warded. It's not warded, so they don't have eyes on Glory, which means they won't know that he's there. But now Glory's going back. If he goes back, this is completely wasted. And he's staying there.
No, he's. I think he's just buying time. He's
okay,
go
yeah.
Back. If they don't go for Baron, he has to back.
Here goes. Here goes.
He's just keeping it proxied. Well, alive here. Does he even know? I mean, is the vision there?
I don't think so. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm scratching my head. Okay, there goes down the control wall.
There's
the flag attack over the wall. Not going to matter anyway. Glory, the last 2 minutes were wasted, and Enrique is on the killing spree for it. The third member of his team to reach 3-0. 3-0. Only Ione has ascended past it. It's a majestic ranks of 4-0, so it's a really good distribution here of kills for this team.
Yeah, that was a weird decision by Glory. I see where he was going for. I mean, Texas A&M, they're desperate. They're 13K down right now. They are absolutely desperate in this game number 3. George Mason, they're running away with it. Glory, he just wanted to get as much glory as he could in a game and try to take away the Baron. That's so hard to do, especially, I mean, you're 2 levels down against Firefly. You don't have smite priority. So you had to go back. You either had to go back early or just stay there and commit. And he decided to commit. Didn't pay off, but I mean you have to wonder, would backing really have paid off either? I mean you're guaranteed not taking Baron at that point. So you might as well just go for broke at that if you're in this position.
Very much the case. So far we've seen a close series born off the back of 3 not at all close games. And interested to see how George Mason is going to tighten down the screws here, because with a Baron and a potential Elemental Drake coming up, that's the Infernal. Got to get at least 1 per game to meet the quota. They're going to continue just to keep up the pressure like a boa constrictor, slowly tightening around their victims. Now mid lane doing everything it needs to. Ornn ultimate just outside of the tower range. I'm sorry, not ultimate, teleport outside of the tower range, but we'll get him there for the fight regardless, as all members are here. They're going to try to get in onto Route Call. The Forge God comes through to buy some time, and it's punched right back immediately onto Black Panda, taking a little bit of damage, but it's not anything damning just yet. Now they are going to continue trying to just chip away this tower. It's the ultimate goal. They break this open. They have so much access to the base, and it's just a slow and steady siege that's coming through. Knocked back the cannon minions, one thing, but the next wave should do it entirely, as they won't even get a chance to meet it. They don't even need the next wave, and now Firefly is trying to get in. This is the engage coming down. Glacial Fissure is there. They're going to try to get more out of this one, and look at how much Alex has been rooted up. It doesn't matter. Glory gets the kill. Sure, that's fine, but Black Panda's health bar so low. Alex does maybe make the sacrificial lamb, but Route actually goes down in all of that, and they're holding on for dear life here. Black Panda's health bar is low. He doesn't care. Glory's in. Enrique finds the rampage. Can he get out of this one? Double kill means probably yes, as he's just shredding from the back line. Ione unstoppable.
There we go.
All the Forge God came off of cooldown in that extended engage, and Glory will pay the price for it. Does go down, and that, ladies and gentlemen, will almost certainly be game number 3, going over into the favor of George Mason. They're on Nexus Tower number 1, Nexus Tower number 2, coming down. The GGs are out in chat, and 32 minutes. George Mason breaking open again. It was slower to start. It got hyped in the mid and then lulled in the end, but there it is, ladies and gentlemen. George Mason University putting this best of 5 series now 2-1 decisively in their favor.
Yeah, it is worth noting Enrique is yet to die while he's playing Jhin. Let's keep that in mind. That's not a huge point, but it is something that is fun to look at. If he gets this Jhin in game number 4, you have to wonder how much power the George Mason is going to put in that bot lane. It's paid off very well for them, especially whenever he's playing Jhin. Didn't happen last game. He had the Ezreal. Jhin, a lot more of a power pick, and works out so well for Enrique. Route going onto that Nivea so well, so good at controlling the team fights with the zones, zoning people off. Just can be the traditional control mage, playing it to a T. Also with those walls. Congratulations, George Mason. It's now 2-1. This could be game point.
Look at Alex's items.
Yeah, I know. I pointed that out.
Oh, I didn't.
No. You're good. No, it's just like, yeah.
Let's drive by me. Show me your tears.
He just sold all of them as he died. All of his items as he died and bought them.
Yeah.